The 8 Pillars of a Woman's Enduring Strength. Timeless wisdom on earning respect beyond beauty. In a world saturated with fleeting images, where social media feeds present a relentless parade of curated perfection and the beauty industry generates billions by promising eternal youth, it's easy to believe that a woman's value is inextricably tied to her physical appearance. We are conditioned to chase a narrow, ever-shifting ideal of beauty, one that is temporary by its very nature. But deep within our collective consciousness, we know a more profound truth. It's a truth whispered by ancient philosophies and demonstrated by the most revered women in history. That true, lasting respect, the kind that shapes legacies and inspires generations, is forged not from the symmetry of a face, but from the substance of one's character. The ancients, whether in the philosophical academies of Athens or the quiet gardens of the East, understood this concept intimately. They spoke of an inner quality, a kind of spiritual or personal kai chat, a Vietnamese term that eludes simple translation but encompasses a person's aura, their substance, their inherent grace, and the quiet power they command. It is the invisible force that makes someone compelling, trustworthy, and admirable, long after the bloom of youth has faded. This isn't an argument against beauty. Beauty, in its many forms, is a gift to be celebrated. Rather, this is an argument for something more durable, more powerful, and more attainable. It is an exploration of the 8 pillars of character that empower a woman to build a life of significance and earn profound respect, independent of the genetic lottery. These are not qualities a woman is born with. They are virtues she cultivates, choices she makes every single day. They are the bedrock of a life that doesn't just look good on the surface, but is unshakably, authentically, and profoundly good at its core. Let us delve into these 8 pillars, the timeless qualities that have always and will always command the world's deepest respect. Pillar 1: the radiance of authenticity. In an age of filters, personal branding, and carefully constructed online personas, authenticity has become a revolutionary act. It is the radical decision to be yourself, unapologetically and entirely. A woman who embodies authenticity possesses a rare and magnetic power. She is not a chameleon, changing her colors to please those around her. Instead, she is a fixed star, radiating a consistent and honest light. What authenticity is, and isn't authenticity, is often misunderstood as radical transparency or a license to be rude under the guise of just being honest. True authenticity is far more nuanced. It is the deep alignment of your actions, your words, and your core values. It's about knowing who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, your boundaries, and having the courage to live in accordance with that knowledge. The inauthentic woman is constantly performing. Her energy is spent on managing perceptions, calculating the right thing to say, and worrying about whether she is liked. Her relationships are often shallow because they are built on a fragile, manufactured version of herself. The authentic woman, by contrast, directs her energy inward. She cultivates self-awareness through introspection, journaling, or quiet contemplation. She understands her own moral compass and uses it to navigate her life, even when it means choosing a harder, less popular path. The American cultural context. American culture has a complex relationship with authenticity. We celebrate the maverick, the rebel, and the self-made individual, all archetypes of authenticity. Yet we also exert immense pressure to conform, to consumer trends, to political ideologies, to social media aesthetics. The woman who can navigate this paradox, who can remain true to herself amidst the noise, earns a special kind of respect. She becomes a source of stability and truth in a world that often feels artificial. Think of figures like Brené Brown, whose entire career is built on the power of vulnerability and daring to be our true selves. She isn't respected for being polished and perfect, She is revered for being real, for admitting her flaws, and for giving millions of others the courage to do the same. Cultivating authenticity. Define your values. You cannot be true to yourself if you don't know what you stand for. Take time to identify your top 5 core values, e.g., integrity, compassion, creativity, security, growth. Use these as your decision-making framework. Practice saying no. Authenticity requires boundaries. Saying no to requests, invitations, or expectations that conflict with your values or drain your energy is a powerful act of self-respect. Embrace your imperfections. The authentic woman knows she is not perfect, and she doesn't pretend to be. She owns her mistakes, learns from them, and understands that her flaws are part of what makes her human and relatable. Listen to your intuition. Spend less time polling others for their opinions and more time listening to your own inner voice. Authenticity means trusting your own judgment. A woman rooted in authenticity is a sanctuary of reality. People are drawn to her because they know that what they see is what they get. Her friendship is real, her compliments are sincere, and her leadership is trustworthy. This quality requires no makeup, no designer wardrobe, no perfect body, only the courage to be oneself. Pillar 2. The unbreakable strength of resilience. Life is an unpredictable sea of storms and calm waters. While we cannot control the weather, we can build a stronger ship. Resilience is the oak that bends in the hurricane but does not break. It is the quiet, indomitable spirit that allows a woman to face adversity, be it personal loss, professional failure, or systemic injustice, and not only survive but emerge wiser and stronger. Beyond bouncing back, resilience is more than just toughness or the ability to bounce back to where you were before. That implies a return to a previous state. True resilience, as modern psychology understands it, is the ability to bounce forward. It is the process of adapting well in the face of trauma, tragedy, or significant stress. It involves leveraging the hardship to learn, grow, and deepen one's understanding of oneself and the world. A woman without resilience is brittle. A single significant setback can shatter her confidence and derail her life's trajectory. She may become a victim of her circumstances, defined by her traumas rather than her response to them. The resilient woman, however, views challenges as a part of life, not as a personal indictment. She grieves, she feels pain, she acknowledges the struggle, but she does not allow it to become her permanent address. She understands the ancient Stoic wisdom that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can always control our response. The American narrative of grit. The concept of resilience is deeply woven into the American identity. We call it grit, fortitude, or the pioneer spirit. We Leoneize stories of individuals who overcame poverty, discrimination, and failure to achieve greatness. A woman who demonstrates this quality taps into one of the nation's most cherished values. Think of Maya Angelou. She endured a childhood of unimaginable trauma and racism, yet she transformed her pain into some of the most powerful and uplifting literature of the 20th century. Her resilience was not about ignoring her suffering, it was about metabolizing it into art and wisdom. She didn't just survive, she triumphed, and in doing so, she earned the reverence of a nation. Cultivating resilience. Reframe your narrative. Resilient people are masters of reframing. Instead of seeing a job loss as a personal failure, they frame it as an opportunity to find a more fulfilling career. They don't ask, "Why did this happen to me?" but rather, "What can I learn from this?" Build your support system. Resilience is not a solo act. It is fortified by strong, healthy relationships. Cultivate a network of friends, family, or mentors who offer support, perspective, and encouragement. Practice self-compassion. During times of hardship, it is easy to fall into self-criticism. A resilient woman treats herself with the same kindness and understanding she would offer a dear friend. Focus on what you can control. In any crisis, separate the things you can influence from those you cannot. By focusing your energy on the former, you move from a state of helpless anxiety to one of empowered action. Respect for a resilient woman is born of awe. We admire her strength not because she is immune to pain, but precisely because she is not. We see her scars and know that each one tells a story of survival and growth. She is a living testament to the power of the human spirit. Pillar 3. The wellspring of compassion. If resilience is the steel in a woman's spine, compassion is the warmth in her heart. In a culture that often prizes competition, individualism, and cynicism, compassion is a gentle but immensely powerful force. It is the ability to feel with another person, to understand their suffering, and to be moved to help. It is empathy in action. Compassion versus pity. It is crucial to distinguish compassion from pity. Pity looks down on someone from a position of superiority. It says, "You poor thing." Compassion, on the other hand, is built on a foundation of shared humanity. It says, "I see your pain because I, too, know what it is to suffer." Pity creates distance. Compassion closes it. A woman who lacks compassion may be successful, but she will be seen as cold, calculating, and unapproachable. Her relationships are transactional. A compassionate woman, however, builds bridges wherever she goes. She is an exceptional leader because she understands the needs of her team. She is a cherished friend because she listens without judgment. She is a pillar of her community because she sees the interconnectedness of all people. Her presence is a source of comfort and psychological safety. The undervalued superpower. In the cutthroat world of American business and politics, compassion has sometimes been mislabeled as a soft skill or a weakness. This is a profound misunderstanding. Compassionate leaders, as research by experts like Daniel Goleman on emotional intelligence shows, consistently build more loyal, innovative, and effective teams. A woman who leads with compassion doesn't sacrifice results. She achieves them through collaboration and mutual respect, not fear and intimidation. Consider the legacy of Eleanor Roosevelt. She was not a conventional beauty, yet she became one of the most admired women in the world. Her power stemmed from her boundless compassion. She traveled the country during the Great Depression, visiting impoverished miners and struggling families, not as a distant First Lady, but as a fellow citizen who saw their suffering and used her platform to advocate for them. Her compassion was her strength, and it earned her an enduring respect that transcended politics and time. Cultivating compassion. Practice active listening. The next time you are in a conversation, resist the urge to formulate your response while the other person is speaking. Instead, focus entirely on understanding their words, their tone, and their body language. Expand your circle. Make an effort to interact with people from different backgrounds, cultures, and walks of life. Reading diverse authors and watching foreign films can also broaden your perspective and build your empathetic muscles. Practice loving-kindness meditation. This ancient practice involves directing well wishes towards yourself and others, e.g., may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe. It is a powerful way to train the heart for compassion. Perform small acts of kindness. Compassion doesn't always require grand gestures. Paying for the coffee of the person behind you, offering a sincere compliment, or taking a moment to truly thank a service worker can create powerful ripples of positivity. A compassionate woman is a healing force in the world. Her value is not in her appearance, but in her ability to make others feel seen, heard, and understood. This is a form of beauty that never fades, it only deepens with time. Pillar 4. The quiet power of wisdom. In the information age, we are drowning in data but starving for wisdom. Knowledge is about knowing facts. Wisdom is about understanding their meaning. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. A wise woman is respected not for what she knows, but for how she knows and how she applies that knowledge to live a good life. Wisdom as discernment. Wisdom is not necessarily a function of age or education. You can meet a PhD who is a fool and a high school graduate who is profoundly wise. Wisdom is the power of discernment. It's the ability to see the bigger picture, to understand human nature, to anticipate consequences, and to know the difference between what is urgent and what is truly important. A woman without wisdom is easily swayed by trends, gossip, and her own unchecked emotions. She makes reactive decisions, gets entangled in unnecessary drama, and often repeats the same mistakes. A wise woman, in contrast, is a thoughtful observer of life. She is reflective and deliberative. Before she speaks, she considers the impact of her words. Before she acts, she considers the potential outcomes. She is a source of sound advice and calm perspective, not because she has all the answers, but because she asks the right questions. The American ideal of the wise woman. While American culture often glorifies youth, it also holds a deep-seated respect for the wise elder or the savvy matriarch. This is the woman who has seen it all, the one you turn to in a crisis for her steady hand and clear-eyed counsel. The late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg became a cultural icon, the notorious RBG, not for her physical appearance but for her towering intellect and profound wisdom. Her legal opinions were masterpieces of logic and foresight. People respected her because they trusted her judgment, which was honed over decades of meticulous study and deep reflection on the nature of justice and equality. Cultivating wisdom. Become a lifelong learner. Read widely and voraciously. History, philosophy, fiction, science. Wisdom is built by connecting disparate ideas to form a coherent understanding of the world. Seek out diverse perspectives. Don't live in an echo chamber. Actively seek out and listen to opinions that challenge your own. A wise person is not afraid to change their mind in the face of new evidence. Practice mindfulness and reflection. Wisdom requires space for thought. Regular practices like meditation, walking in nature, or journaling create the mental quiet needed to process experiences and distill them into lessons. Learn from your mistakes. The wisest people are not those who never fail, but those who are the best students of their failures. When something goes wrong, conduct a fearless personal postmortem. What happened? What was my role? What will I do differently next time? The respect a wise woman commands is deep and abiding. People seek her out not for superficial chatter, but for profound conversation. She is a lighthouse in the fog, and her value is measured in the quality of her judgment and the depth of her understanding. Pillar 5. The unshakable grace under pressure. Grace is an old-fashioned word, but its power is timeless. We are not talking about the delicate grace of a ballerina, but the formidable grace of a leader who remains calm in a crisis, the emotional grace of a woman who can absorb a personal insult without retaliating in kind, the social grace of someone who makes everyone in a room feel at ease. Grace under pressure is the hallmark of emotional mastery. The essence of poise. Grace in this context is poise. It is the ability to maintain one's composure and dignity in the face of stress, provocation, or chaos. It is the opposite of reactivity. The woman who lacks this grace is a tempest of emotion. She is easily angered, quickly offended, and prone to creating drama. Her emotional state is volatile and dependent on external circumstances. The graceful woman, however, has a low emotional center of gravity. She is not emotionless. She feels anger, fear, and frustration just like everyone else. The difference is that she is not ruled by these feelings. She has created a space between the stimulus, e.g., a critical comment, and her response. In that space, she chooses dignity over drama and composure over chaos. This self-possession is incredibly powerful. It unnerves her adversaries and reassures her allies. Grace in the American spotlight. American public life is a high-pressure cooker. We admire figures who can withstand intense scrutiny and personal attacks with their dignity intact. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis was an icon of grace. In the face of unimaginable public tragedy, she conducted herself with a quiet strength and composure that unified a grieving nation. Michelle Obama, during her time as First Lady, faced immense pressure and often unfair criticism. Her famous motto, "When they go low, we go high," is a perfect encapsulation of grace under pressure. It is a commitment to maintaining one's own standards of conduct, regardless of the provocation. This refusal to be dragged into the mud earned her immense and widespread respect. Cultivating grace. Master the pause. When you feel a strong negative emotion rising, train yourself to pause before you speak or act. Take a deep breath. Count to 10. This simple act can be the difference between a graceful response and a regrettable reaction. Don't take it personally. Often, another person's rudeness or anger is a reflection of their own struggles, not a true measure of your worth. Learning to depersonalize conflict is a key to maintaining your poise. Practice self-regulation. Engage in activities that calm your nervous system, such as yoga, meditation, or spending time in nature. A regulated nervous system is less prone to emotional hijacking. Prepare for difficult conversations. If you know you need to have a tough conversation, rehearse it. Think about what you want to say and how you want to say it. This preparation can help you stay calm and focused when you're in the moment. A graceful woman moves through the world with a quiet confidence that soothes and stabilizes those around her. Her ability to remain centered amidst chaos is a rare and deeply admirable quality. It signals a mastery not of others but of herself, the most difficult and most respectable victory of all. Pillar 6. The courage of conviction. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting in spite of it. And one of the most profound forms of courage is the courage of conviction, the willingness to stand for your principles, speak your truth, and do what is right, especially when it is unpopular, difficult, or even dangerous. The moral compass in action. A woman with conviction has a strong moral core. She has done the hard work of defining her values, Pillar 1, and gaining wisdom, Pillar 4, and she is now prepared to act on them. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's easy to have principles when they aren't being tested. True measure of character is what you do when your values are in conflict with social pressure, personal convenience, or the demands of an authority figure. The woman who lacks conviction is a weather vane, pointing in whatever direction the winds of public opinion are blowing. She stays silent in the face of injustice to avoid rocking the boat. She compromises her integrity for personal gain. She is easily intimidated. The woman of conviction, however, is a lighthouse. She is a fixed point of moral clarity. She is the employee who speaks up against an unethical practice, the community member who organizes against a harmful policy, the friend who tells you the hard truth you need to hear. American heroes of conviction. American history is filled with stories of women whose courage of conviction changed the nation. Rosa Parks was not simply a woman who was too tired to move to the back of the bus. She was a lifelong activist who made a conscious, courageous decision to stand for the principle of human dignity. Her quiet act of defiance was a testament to her deep convictions. Susan B. Anthony endured decades of ridicule and arrest to fight for a woman's right to vote. These women were not universally loved in their time. They were often vilified. But history respects them because they had the courage to stand for a principle greater than their own comfort or safety. Cultivating courage of conviction. Start small. Courage is a muscle. You build it by using it. Start by speaking up in small ways, disagreeing respectfully in a meeting, setting a boundary with a family member, or defending someone who is being treated unfairly. Know your why. Be crystal clear about why you believe what you believe. A deeply held, well-reasoned conviction is much harder to shake than a superficial opinion. Find your allies. Standing up for your beliefs is easier when you are not standing alone. Find other people who share your values and can offer support and solidarity. Accept the risks. Having convictions sometimes comes at a cost. You might lose friends, face criticism, or miss out on opportunities. A courageous woman understands these risks and decides that her integrity is worth the price. A woman of conviction is a force of nature. She may make people uncomfortable, but she also inspires them to be better. Her respect is forged in the fires of moral courage, and it is a legacy that will outlive any fleeting social approval. Pillar 7. The boundless spirit of generosity. Generosity is the virtue of giving freely without expecting anything in return. In a consumerist culture that often asks, "What's in it for me?" a genuinely generous spirit is a breathtaking and beautiful thing. This is not just about financial charity. It is a generosity of time, of knowledge, of spirit, and of forgiveness. The abundance mindset. Generosity flows from an abundance mindset. The woman who is generous believes at a fundamental level that there is enough to go around, enough success, enough love, enough credit, enough joy. She is not threatened by the success of others because she knows that another's light does not dim her own. The woman with a scarcity mindset, by contrast, hoards everything: her contacts, her knowledge, her compliments. She is competitive and stingy because she fears that there isn't enough for her. A generous woman is a natural mentor. She freely shares her expertise to help others grow. She is a connector, always looking to introduce people who could benefit from knowing each other. She is quick to give credit and celebrate the accomplishments of others. She is also generous with her forgiveness, both for others and for herself, understanding that holding on to grudges is a burden that only harms the person carrying it. Generosity as a community builder. The American ideal of community is built on a foundation of generosity. From the barn raisings of the past to modern-day crowdfunding and volunteer organizations, generosity is the glue that holds society together. A woman who embodies this spirit becomes a vital hub in her personal and professional networks. People trust her because they know she is not driven by a selfish agenda. Her influence grows not because she seeks power, but because she seeks to empower others. Think of the impact of philanthropists like Mackenzie Scott, who has given away billions with a focus on empowering community-led organizations and trusting them to know how best to use the resources. But generosity doesn't require wealth. It can be seen in the teacher who stays late to help a struggling student, the neighbor who organizes a meal train for a family in crisis, or the artist who shares her creative process to inspire others. Cultivating generosity. Give without an audience. Practice anonymous acts of kindness. This purifies the motive, ensuring that you are giving for the sake of giving, not for recognition. Share your knowledge. Mentor someone. Tutor a student. Freely offer your skills and expertise to those who could benefit from them. Practice generous listening. Give someone your undivided attention. The greatest gift you can give is to make someone feel truly heard. Be a champion for others. When a colleague does great work, praise them publicly. When a friend achieves a goal, celebrate them enthusiastically. Actively combat the scarcity mindset by promoting the success of those around you. A generous woman creates a world of abundance around her. The respect she earns is a natural byproduct of the value she creates for others. She understands that we are all lifted by the rising tide, and she dedicates herself to being a force that raises all ships. Pillar 8. The understated magnetism of humility. In the age of the selfie and self-promotion, humility is perhaps the most radical and misunderstood of all the pillars. It is not about thinking less of yourself. It is about thinking about yourself less. It is a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be loud. It is the wisdom to know your strengths and weaknesses, and the grace to understand your place in the larger world. The strength in humility. Arrogance is a mask worn by insecurity. The arrogant person constantly needs to proclaim their own greatness because deep down they are not sure of it. Truly humble woman, however, has a solid sense of her own worth. She doesn't need to broadcast her accomplishments because her work speaks for itself. This quiet confidence is profoundly magnetic. Humility is the gateway to growth. The humble woman is open to feedback and willing to admit when she is wrong because her ego is not tied to being right. She is a perpetual student, always curious and eager to learn from others, regardless of their status or station. The arrogant person, believing they already know everything, closes themselves off to new knowledge and becomes stagnant. Humility in leadership. The most effective and respected leaders, as leadership expert Jim Collins found in his research for the book Good to Great, are not the charismatic, larger-than-life figures but the humble ones. Humble leaders channel their ambition into the organization, not themselves. They give credit to their teams and take responsibility for failures. A humble woman is approachable and relatable. She doesn't put herself on a pedestal, which allows others to connect with her on a genuine human level. This doesn't mean she is a doormat. A humble woman can be fiercely ambitious and incredibly driven. But her ambition is tempered by self-awareness and a respect for others. Cultivating humility. Embrace a learner's mindset. Approach every situation and every person with the assumption that they have something to teach you. Questions and listen more than you talk. Acknowledge your contributors. No one achieves success alone. Make it a regular practice to acknowledge and thank the people who have helped you along the way. Laugh at yourself. A good sense of humor, especially the ability to laugh at your own mistakes and quirks, is a hallmark of humility. Signals that you don't take yourself too seriously. Spend time in nature. Contemplating the vastness of the ocean, the mountains, or the night sky can be a powerful antidote to an overinflated ego. It reminds us of our small but beautiful place in the universe. The respect a humble woman commands is the most authentic of all. It is given freely, not demanded. People follow her not because they are intimidated, but because they are inspired. Her lack of pretense creates a space for others to shine, and in doing so, her own light becomes even brighter.